What's up, y'all? Or you? There's only a singular person watching this video, and it's probably just me, honestly. I've been rewatching my videos. Well, not really rewatching, honestly. I just been like, I don't know, bro. I don't have a lot of patience for a lot. Sorry, I know y'all barely can hear me. Hey, hold on. Trying to shut y'all up. I guess that's good enough. But I don't really have a lot of patience for a lot of things, bro. It's like watching YouTube videos of certain things or even watching movies. It's like I just don't really have the patience to be like watching that stuff, bro. I feel like I'm wasting time, bro. Because if you think about it, my last video was 2 weeks ago, right? It does not feel like it was 2 weeks ago. This whole week, like it's basically Friday. It's like 10 o'clock. So I'm about to go to sleep soon after I go take my shower and stuff. But it's 10 o'clock right now, bro. I gotta wake up and do the same thing all over again, you know? I really haven't been posting a lot of videos because it's like kind of hard to like diversify my attention from doing music to hanging out with my family. Honestly, I don't even feel like I've like been fully hanging out with my family, you know. Today I did a little better. I sat and played dinosaurs with my son because he likes watching dinosaurs. But it's my first time hitting it since this thing's been started. I don't know, I definitely gotta do better, man. It's like a discomfort with me personally. Like, you know, I've been noticing that me doing the hard work with doing music, like I've been feeling, you know, a lot better. I haven't been feeling like I've been wasting days. Like I said, like, you know, I don't really like wasting time, but, you know, it's kind of contradicting because, you know, I can't even say it's contradicting because it's like, recently I just been trying to figure out what I want to do, you know. Like, I know that I like making music, but it's like, you know, I know you probably do the same thing because we're human. It's like you question, like, if you're going the right route, you know. I don't think anybody knows for sure, man. And I need to speak to my pastor, you know, because, I mean, I think it's pretty good to talk to older people about some subjects, you know. Not all older people, because, you know, I can't even say not all older people because, I mean, if you've been on this earth for 70 years, you have to have some wisdom, right? You have to have some type of, you know, knowledge. And if you don't, then what the fuck were you doing here? You know, I feel like us humans are here to learn. You have to learn, you know? I was talking to my wife today. It's like, you know, it's crazy, the evolution of humans, you know? I told her verbatim, I was like, dinosaurs were here. They didn't do anything. The only thing they did was eat each other. So they got extinct for a reason. But humans came and they made this big, tremendous difference on the earth. There's so many frogs in my new house, bro. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like one in between my screen right here. But, oh yeah, I'm not sure if I told you guys, but I had moved into a new house. That's probably what kind of got me off the grind. I'm making excuses. I've been thinking about y'all and coming back to like making YouTube videos. I don't know. I haven't been on it. But yeah. So humans came. You know, we started off with nothing, and we literally created everything you see here. You see these fences. Somebody came up with an idea to. I'm not sure what the idea was to do what fences were for. I guess privacy, maybe to stop wildlife from coming in. You know. What else? You know, they invented guns. You know, they knew that they couldn't beat a bear. I mean, they had spears and stuff, but it was like, okay, why work harder when you can work smarter, you know? They invented shotguns over here popping these bears now, you know? It's like, it's kind of like, I can't say lazy because lazy is not the right word, but what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of the word right now. But yeah, I mean, we invented so much stuff. You got clothes on our back. You got, you know, houses. You got TVs. Like, you got airplanes. Like, think of back in the day before airplanes. You trying to shoot that idea to, dang, what the fuck is biting me, bro? Freaking mosquitoes. Imagine you trying to pitch an idea about an airplane to somebody, right? They're gonna think you're insane, bro. There's no doubt about it. Depending on who you're talking to, they're gonna think you're insane. So it's like, you know, believing in yourself enough to accomplish that is crazy. But just accomplishing that alone, like, humans are literally the closest thing to God. God created this earth, and we're creating after him. We're creating on this earth. So I think that's beautiful. I was telling my son today, you know, because he was doing like something, like he was stabbing holes, like it was like the back of a comb. He was stabbing it inside like this little box, because we were moving, cleaning out our old apartment, which I have to go back there tomorrow. But he was stabbing holes in there, and I'm like, you know, keep being creative. You know, you can't spell earth without art. You know, so just keep doing what you're doing. Just always be creative. You know, we're here to create, and you know, it's just, that's what we're here for. You know, why I've heard multiple people say, it's like God blessed us with time, and what we do, God gifted us with time, and what we do with that time is our gift to God. And it's like, you know, I haven't really dwelled on that too long enough to sit there and try to give an explanation or how I feel about it. But I don't know. I've just been trying to figure out life lately. You know, I know that I can't figure out life. You know, I'm not God. I'm not all-knowing. But, you know, I could do my best to try to figure out, you know, me. And I kind of feel like that's where the discomfort is coming from. Like, I haven't really been spending time with me, you know. My music, I've been doing, like, more self-reflection and, like, trying to express, you know, how I feel. And it's like, it's not the same as just meditation. You know, it's kind of similar, but it's not the same as just sitting down in silence. If I sound pretty tired, I am tired right now. I've been up since 6 a.m., bro. 6:20, because I had an alarm at 6 a.m., but I stayed in the bed for about 20 minutes. But, you know, life is beautiful. This money doesn't change anything. It's like, you get the money, and it's like, it goes by so fast, bro. If you're not being smart, you know, with the money. But savers are losers, because money's being printed every day. So you're trying to save your money so you don't have to work hard, and it's like you're better off spending it, you know. That's kind of my thought process with money. But it's like, it comes and goes, bro. So it doesn't buy happiness at all, bro. You could sit there and have all the money on earth, and you still have a hole in yourself. Like, we came before the money, you know. Why do you think the external is going to fix the internal? It will never work like that. Nothing external. Like, if you think prehistoric, not even prehistoric, like, if you think primal, before we had all this stuff that humans created, what did God give us? He gave us a soul, he gave us a heart, he gave us our body. So that's what we need to put first before any of this stuff. You know, we've been blessed with a family, you know, we've been blessed with just life in general, you know. And I've been, like, thinking today, because I wanted to sit there and go to CarMax to rent, like, I mean, not rent, like, do a test drive on a manual, because, you know, I've always wanted to drive a manual. I believe I can do it. My wife, she's projecting, you know, she's sitting there saying that I can't do it. She doesn't believe I can do it because, you know, obviously she thinks it's difficult, so she's gonna think, since she can't do it, that I can't do it. You know, that's the same with everybody. So when you're telling your ideas to people, it's a mindset. They already have a mindset that it's difficult, it's too hard to accomplish. Just like me being an artist, it's like I'm trying to break through that barrier of, you know, anybody can be an artist. Only thing I have to do is stay consistent and, stay consistent and keep creating. You know, every day, if you keep creating, you're going to create something that somebody else, 1 out of 1 billion, 7 billion, however many people on this earth, you're going to create something that at least one person is going to like, you know. It might not be the best to you, but somebody else might like it. Only thing you could do is try to make the best thing that you like, and you will find somebody that kind of has the same taste. You know, you just have to do things for you, for real. But that's kind of, I had to remember the subject when I was just talking about being an artist. So, you know, people project, they're saying like, you know, when I first started, they said that you can't be an artist, but it's like you can choose anything to be your profession. Only thing you have to do is learn everything that you can about that subject. So if you want to be a NASCAR driver, whoever has the most knowledge is going to win. So let me give you an example. So if you're a rookie race car driver, one, you're going to be scared because you don't know how fast that car goes. You know, if it's your first time hopping in that car, let's say it's not the first time hopping in that car, you don't know how to turn corners hard, you know, you don't know, everything is you don't know, you know. So every excuse that I believe, you know, I'm not putting too much thought into it, but I believe that everything that is going to cause you to lose is something that you didn't know, you know. Your car might be fast or whatever, but if you don't know how to hit them corners good, if you don't know how to sit there and hold that steering wheel, if you don't know how to shift or whatever you got to do, then it's a you don't know factor. So you can be the top paid if you have the value, which is the knowledge. The knowledge is value. So if you learn everything that you can within a subject, why can't you be whatever you want to in this life? If you got an answer, then drop it in the comments. Because you can be anything you want in this life. You just have to learn, you know? It's like a new artist. They don't know that music is a business for the most part. So it's not just learning and perfecting your craft within, I need to get some water. It's not learning and perfecting your craft within the business. It's learning, it's not learning and perfecting your craft just with the music, because if you get the music and you don't know the business, then you're going to get screwed over. You have to learn the business side. You have to learn business in general. If you never had a business before, then how, or even learned about business, then how are you going to be in the music business? You know, it's that I don't know aspect again, you know? You can't be successful if you don't know how to be successful. So if you're trying, you got to learn how to market your music. You got to learn how to record. If you don't know how to record or be close to the mic, then it's an I don't know factor. So you can be anything that you want in this life. You just need to know how to be it. Choose that profession. Anything that you want to do, you start today and just keep grinding until you get to wherever you want to be. You know, everything in life is about what you learn to do, love to do. But I didn't digress like a mother yucker, bro. The main thing that I was just talking about is that the manual situation. So I wanted to get a manual, and Alyssa said, blah, 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 because you can't drive it. But at the end of the day, it's my life, you know. I'm not doing anything to jeopardize our relationship. I'm not doing anything to put my kids in danger. I'm still being a good father to my kids, you know. We're still providing. I say weird because, you know, my wife, honestly, she's doing all the providing, and I'm very grateful for it. You know, I've been blessed to be able to focus on my music and get better at my craft and be able to learn everything that I need to learn, you know. And I'm always, even if something, me and Alyssa want to be together, which, you know, I love Alyssa, man. Like, we've came a long way, but even if something like that were to happen, I will always give my thanks to her, because she is the main reason why I can focus on everything that I'm doing, you know. And I need to be better to her with certain things, but, you know, that's kind of a digress. But if I'm not being good with this time, then I can't be an artist, you know, because I done wasted so much time, and that's all that we have is time. And it's like, what are you doing with this time? More of the story, it's my life, so I need to do whatever makes me happy in the moment. So if I feel like, you know, whatever I want to do, if it's not hitting on those targets that I just said with, you know, not jeopardizing my relationship, being good to my kids, you know, all that stuff, then why not do it? If I have the money to do it, you know, why not do it if it makes me happy, you know? If making music makes me happy, and this is what I want to focus on to be able to, you know, provide for my family, then why wouldn't I do it? Why can't I do it, you know? For people that's like, okay, you can't be an artist. Man, if you follow this channel, you're going to be able to be whatever you want to be, because I'm always install that into you that you can be whatever you want to be. It's just a mind thing. You just got to keep learning. But don't really remember, like, I probably started something and dropped it, but, I'm tired. I don't even feel high. I don't feel any type of high right now. It's like I'm just smoking just to smoke, just to talk to y'all. But I hope y'all had a good day today, Today was a very productive day for me. We got a TV. Let me show you if I can show it. Oh, y'all see that? Right there. Not that bottle. We got a new TV on the wall. Yeah, we just got that today. I had put that thing on the wall. It was difficult, bro. Cleaned out the car today. We went to the pool for a little bit, but it started lightning. And my wife was, a little worried. And she's a little frightened by the lightning and stuff, because she don't want to get shocked. And, she's just a great mom. I can't even say she's overprotective or anything. She just, wants the best for her kids. Yeah, that's beautiful. Like, I'm blessed to have a wife like that, because there's moms that don't really care, about their kid. I can't even say care about their kids. They're just selfish. And I'm pretty selfish, honestly. And, it's a habit that I gotta break. Everything is a habit, bro. I got a sexual demon, bro. So if I keep feeding that demon, it's going to be a habit to keep feeding that demon if things go wrong, It's the same thing with smoking weed, it's a habit, you want to get high. And like, I went 3 days without smoking, that's pretty good for me. I know I can go longer, but it's like, I don't know, it's a habit, it's like, you get used to being high. I've been living like my whole life since like the age of 14, maybe 15ish, high, every day. Pull up, get some weed, smoke. That's all I really cared about. Smoke. And I'm 25 now, so it's been 11 years. Maybe 10, because I might have started when I was like 15. I'm not really sure. It's been 10. And he got superpowers. He's an ordinary kid. He's been 10. But, I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, it's a habit, like that's all I've been doing, just sitting there trying to get some weed, smoke, and all that stuff. And it's like breaking that familiarity. And that's a lot of things, I see that with me getting better at rejecting my old self and my old habits, And it's like, you can build a new person. You can build whoever you want to be, but you got to create new habits and leave the old ones in the past. It's got to do what I say and not what I do right now, because, I haven't fully accomplished that mission. But, I'm 25. Days go by, if it rhymes, it's true. Days go by and you just get wiser, smarter, and older. So it's like, by the time I'm 80, I literally can be, I can't say perfect, but, I will be, I will have some knowledge to sit there and tell my grandchildren, And it's really a beautiful life once you sit down and be grateful, once you sit in the moment. So, yeah, when I turn 80, I feel like there should be no reason why I'm sitting there still doing the same things that I'm doing, Or if I am, then I just really don't care. I'm just not trying, And it's like, I have a family to try for, because we're installing our habits. I got a song where I said that I'm installing my habits, like I'm passing my son my costume or something like that. I don't remember, bro. I made it a couple days ago. But, like I'm passing him my disguise or something like that. That's exactly what it is, man. You're installing these bad habits into your children, If you think about it, you have some bad habits of your parents. It's like they're installing viruses in you. So, you really do have to improve yourself for the better of this world. But it's not an easy mission. It's definitely a task. But only thing you can do, all we can do, is our best. That's it. You know, God got us. Even though, like, recently I haven't been fully faithful. I believe there's God. I know God's real, but it's like, that's a habit that I have to build too. Because y'all might not know this about me, but when I was about, well, I know y'all don't know it because I haven't said it. But when I was about, like 12, playing video games and stuff, I got caught up in a crowd where they were like all atheists, and I was the type of person where it was difficult for me to be myself. So I always changed myself to sit there and be able to hang out with people, and I thought it was cool. But that's probably the main reason why I did it. But that's a little more that you guys get to know about me. It's like I've always been that type of person, and it's like recently I've been getting better at staying myself and not trying to feel loved by other people. It's like it's better to love yourself. Nipsey Hussle said, R.I.P. He said that would you rather be at war with yourself or at war with the world? At war with yourself and at peace with the world, or at war with the world and at peace with yourself? That's where I'm trying to be in my life. I'm trying to be at peace with myself and hopefully not, but be at war with the world. I'd rather not be at war with anybody, but it's like you can't please everybody. This thing has been lit this whole time. I probably didn't hit it like 4 times. But, that's what I was saying about my life thing. I have to find me, It's like I have to do things that make me happy. This is my life. You came in this world alone and you're going to die alone. It's sad to say that. Nobody knows what's next. Like, you hear different things and you have the Bible telling you that there's a heaven and stuff, and everybody reunites. That's what I heard. I haven't read the Bible. One day I'll read the Bible for sure. But they tell you there's a heaven, there's a hell and all that stuff, but I'm not really speaking on the hell part because maybe hell is being stuck in this world, because honestly, this is hell. Look at everything that's going on, like, it's just so much negativity. It's like, money rules this place. You have your own 2 eyes, bro. You see the stuff that's going on in this world, but it's like, are we in hell? That's not what I needed to say, but it's my bad. I don't know. It's going to heaven. What is it? Maybe it is where you don't get reincarnated inside this world. You finally get to go up there with God and be there with the people that's there with you. You get to hang out with, your Father. Because we're all children of God. We're all children of earth, or whatever you want to call it. Whatever the higher power, whoever's up there, whoever's in charge, when you get to hang out with them. And I don't know. I don't know what heaven or hell is, but I be digressing a lot. I don't even remember what I was talking about. I'm so tired. Maybe it wasn't meant for me to remember. But, oh yeah, I was talking about, like, faith. I know faith is there, but it's like, sometimes you just sit there and get so caught in the moment, get so caught in this world, it's like you don't take that time. Gotta get a little comfortable. You don't take that time to sit down and just, be in this world and just think and just chill, Like, to be honest, I've been being super duper ungrateful. I have a beautiful family, we make money, we're in a new house, and it's like, I still find ways to be ungrateful. And it's like, it's been like that since I was a kid, Like, I'll sit there and have my mom doing everything that she could for me. And, I just didn't appreciate it like I should. I was always worrying about the next thing. Like, not being in the moment. I was too busy. Okay, I got this loving parent, this parent that's, doing everything that she can for me. But my dad, he wasn't really fully in my life. It's like so many back and forth stories. But honestly, when I open my eyes and look today, it's like this guy can talk, like go, a very long time without talking to me. And it's like, stuff like that will cause me to question my self-worth. But it's like now it's just whatever, It's like you can't sit there and, beat yourself up over things like that. But back to the story, me just being grateful for my mom and stuff like that. But, I gave my mom hell for real. But, it's like I have to be grateful for the things that's in the moment for real, Like I'm outside. I've had a beautiful day. Oh, I dropped my lighter. I've had a beautiful day for real. Like I got to wake up. I got to make music, I was thinking in the car earlier, it's like, I'm sitting here being ungrateful for the life that I'm living now, but it's like, what if I got in a car accident and I lost both of my legs? I'm going to be thinking back like, wow, man. I had legs then, life was so much better and all that stuff, and it's like I just took that for granted, What if I lost my eye? Like, I was also telling my wife, and it's crazy because, like, I noticed with myself, it's like, I have the answers for a lot of things, but the answers don't work for me. I was telling my wife about the gratefulness. It's like, I'm surprised I ain't run out of storage yet. I was telling her about the gratefulness stuff, and I was like, I'm not gonna really put her business in out, but it's like, some people sit there and be insecure about the way that they look, and I'm kind of one of those people. It's like stuff, I like when I look at myself, I'm like, wow, I'm a beautiful human being, bro. But when I sit there and I'm not sure if I just sit there and try to look through other people's eyes and I just overly criticize myself. But like I was saying, it's people sit there and think that they're ugly, but I'm not calling these people ugly. I'm not bullying them or anything, but there's people that's, have to sit there and wake up every morning and look at themselves, and, those people that have, like, their mouths crumbled in, like, just, like, their face, like, they have a deformed face, and they have to sit there and break past that barrier of themselves. That's crazy to think about, like, from 2K to Taz face, it's crazy to think about, like, people. Like, if I was one of those people, of how much more of an insecurity I would have. And, I look at myself now and I'm beautiful. But I sit there, I mean, look at myself. I'm beautiful. But I need to drop my music, bro. For real, I need to drop my music. I have so much music, bro. I'll be the only person holding myself back. But it's like, if I had to sit there and wake up every morning and deal with that insecurity, it's like, Jesus, life would be so much harder until I finally overcome myself and be like, none of this stuff matters, We're here for a reason. That's probably not something I would say, but, that definitely would help. But, we can't be wasting our time thinking about what other people are thinking about us, Because at the end of the day, does it really matter? You're letting a what if take away from your happiness. Because you're thinking a thought, then it's coming down on you and destroying you. It's like, if you think about the physical, not the physical, I was just talking about the physical. Once you start thinking about the spirituality of it, it's like you get discomfort, you start feeling the emotions, the energy and emotion. You start feeling that, then it's like it brings you down. You just start feeling low, I can go in like a place, I start nailing myself, bro, mentally. And it's like now that's destroying my subconscious, I guess you could say, because I can't really say spiritual, because I don't really think that's spiritual. I feel like, there's a spiritual you. You are you. It's like a three-way. I'm trying to think of a way to put this. It's like Let's say it's a video game for real. So, nah, yeah, let's say it's a video game, alright? So, you are you. Let's say you're in front of a TV. You are you. Your emotions are the Xbox, and this life is the game. So if you're playing Call of Duty, you are you. You're the person that's sitting playing the game. That controller has to connect to the console. The console is like the big motherboard. That's where, the energy, not, I won't say your energy, but that's where your emotions are. You have your emotions, and the actual, the game Call of Duty that's being played in the system is life. I hope that makes sense, because now that I said it out loud, it kind of ain't making sense. But I mean, I kind of see what I'm getting at, but I just don't want to sit there and sound stupid. Some people gonna think I'm crazy, but I need to dwell on that a little bit more and make sure. I wouldn't say make sure I'm speaking about what I'm talking about. I'm just genuinely curious if that makes sense. Try to dig deeper into my spirituality. But I know your spirit. You're the person that's watching this whole reality. You have your emotions. They aren't you, but they're they're that body that's getting brought down. I don't know how to explain it, but I forgot what I was saying again. I'm supposed to bang got a therapist for real. I want to get a vocal coach. But it's like, okay, let's say for instance, I get a vocal coach, right? I've been putting on my, I've had a 2025 to-do list. Therapist was definitely on there. And I think doing concerts was another. But I knew that I couldn't be able to go out and be a public figure until I fixed my internal world, because it's like once your internal feels bad, it's like that's your body, that's you, that's what you have to live in this world in. So if you're feeling negative and a little angry, you have to deal with that. So it's like you going to different places and talking to different people. It's going to be a little miserable, and you can't sit there and push down those feelings. So you don't have to deal with that, and it's like I just can't do it. I can't sit there and put on a fake smile if I'm unhappy. I can, but I don't want to. I want to be genuinely happy. I know that's something that's going to take time, but it's like I need to start. But if I sit there and get a vocal coach, I sit there and get all the money, yay, I will get everything I want. I sit there and get a Hellcat, all this stuff, get, just all the clothes that I want, and it's not going to matter because, one, I've already said that the physical doesn't matter. That's really the only thing I need to say. Physical world doesn't matter at all. But it's just you. It's you being happy in the moment. It's the primal stuff, not the stuff that the humans created, but it's the human itself. So you have to get that happy. Nothing external is going to make you happy. I got some issues that nobody can see. Dun da 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 dun dun da 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 da. I think I'm a pretty decent singer, bro, but I feel like a vocal coach definitely would help, just for the simple fact that I can be able to learn quicker. But I think, I don't know. I know I could figure everything out by myself. I don't know why I push off a therapist so much. I guess it's just telling people my problems, bro. And I see myself, I run away from it so much. I would sit there and get lost in the real world. Not the real world. this life and try to grind different things, push things off, but I don't know. I don't really think about it too much of why I can't go to the therapist because I just recently started thinking about like getting a therapist, because everybody has childhood traumas that create them to be a certain way. Like I know my childhood traumas hinder me, but it's like learning how to, cope with them, I guess. Having somebody, that you can to talk about things, they can be like, no, that's not you, that's blah, 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 you can kind of not feel alone. I don't know. I've never really had a person to like deeply talk to about things. And that probably would be a reason to come on here and talk to you guys a little more, but it's like you guys aren't therapists. Like at the end of the day, y'all aren't therapists. Y'all aren't a trained professional. Y'all don't do it as a profession. Everybody has something that they're good at. They have something that they excel at. And if you don't, then I don't know. I believe everybody has something that they are very good at. And, for me, I don't know. I think I'm very good at making music, but I don't know, man. I've been thinking about acting for real. Like, not me, like, actually, like, partaking into acting, but, like, I'm pretty good at, like, keeping a straight face, just like, I don't know, getting into a character, I guess you could say. Like, if you think about it, music is a character. Like a music artist, they are playing a role. And, I guess my depersonalization could also be considered. I wouldn't say like depersonalization. I would say that it is. What is it? Changing myself to be able to make other people happy. Feel loved, I guess you can say. I've always been like an introvert growing up. I would just hang out by myself. I'm not sure exactly why I would. I kind of understand it. I don't know. I do know, but I just don't, like, fully understand it for real. Maybe it might be, like, me growing up. It's like, me, like, being bullied as a kid. I wouldn't even say bullying makes you sound like a punk. But it's like, I guess you could say being picked on. Kids, and that's just how kids are. But when you're a kid, you don't really fully understand that. I pray my son, you want your kids to live a perfect life, but it's like they're learning from you, bro. So that would be a real reason to go see a therapist to work on your problems so you don't install these things just because you don't know. You don't install the unknown into your kids, because I don't want my kids to have to deal with something like that, I understand how it hindered me in life, and I'm just now overcoming it. But, everybody has the problems in life that you have to overcome. I was just watching a movie. I don't know the name of it, but it was this girl. She was going, like, time traveling. And she, what was it? She was trying to change stuff in this person's past to make him a perfect husband or a perfect person. And, I be so in the moment when I be talking, bro. I just be losing track. Like, that's one thing I gotta work on. Remembering the subject just a teeny bit and digressing. But, yeah, the more of the story, everything that's happened in your childhood trauma and everything, it shapes who you are. So, just because you are what you know. So if you're learning good habits and stuff, or just like whatever you're around, you can only know what you're taught. which is crazy to think about because it's like, then how, before we knew anything, how did we learn? I'm not talking about us, like, hold on. I'm not talking about me, like, like us as like individuals. I'm talking about us as like a whole civilization, I guess you could say. What's the definition of civilization? Like, I would think that's like the humans, like us as humans. Let's say that. If you know what civilization means, drop it down in the comments. 'Cause I'm probably gonna forget to look it up. But yeah, how do us as a human race learn if the only thing that we know is what we learn? If you think about it as kids, only thing you know is what your parents teach you and whatever you see. How do you learn? Just, think about growing up. You sit there and like you consume it, but now you know it. That's really something to think about. But I don't know, man. I think that's it. But dang, this has been 41 minutes. I still have not finished it. Alright, well, I don't know when I'll talk to y'all again, but I'll talk to y'all soon. I hope I dropped some value in this video. I want to know what's back there. Y'all seen that truck? Like, there's a fence right here, and they be doing like road work and stuff like on this side of my fence. I haven't been back there, but I need to go explore, see what's over there. And my wife has been curious, but yeah, I hope I dropped some type of value in here that educated somebody, or inspired the mind of a great thinker. Let's say that. I hope I inspired the mind of a great thinker to think greatly. Alright. If you made it to this end of the video, I love you because that means that you actually love me as a person to actually stick it through this far in the video. It is 43 minutes. That means you gave me 43 minutes of your time. You spent 43 minutes of this beautiful 24 hours to listen to me. And I am extremely grateful for that. It's beautiful to know that somebody has given their time to listen to me. And that really shows you the power of time, because like even like human interactions in real life, like only thing you have is time, and you're spending your time doing different things. So you can spend 2 hours of your 24 hours of your however many heartbeats you have in 24 hours to listen to someone or to watch TV. Sorry. Spend whatever 2 hours to watch TV or to clean your house. Because cleanliness is subconscious. Like, you feel better when you're around clean. I've heard a wise man say that a cluttered house means a cluttered, mental, or I guess you could say spiritual. But, there's definitely less stress in having a cluttered, unorganized house, because if you don't know where something is, it's going to annoy you. If you sit there, let's say you dirty, like there's some milk spill, which I have some milk spilled on my floor for my kids. I need to clean. If you have some milk spilled and you sit there and get your shoes, or I wouldn't even say shoes, let's say you have some milk spilled. Let's say for my case, you have some milk spilled. You're playing with your kid or something when you're waking up, or you just got your kid ready and he lays on the milk. Now you're going to be stressed out because he didn't ruin his outfit and you done wasted that beautiful 20 minutes of this 24 hours that you received, that you're blessed with, to deal with, to have to do it all over again because, this is happening. I know that stressed you out. It's just like if you actually just put your brain to use and think about like how clutteredness and being unorganized can, I won't even say put your brain to use. I'll say just, yeah, it is putting your brain. It's your brain and like your feeling, But, you just put you to use and think about how having a cluttered home or clutterness in general, unorganized, can increase stress levels. But my bad, I added more time, so it's 46 minutes now. If you've given me 46 minutes of your time, please drop a like, so I know that there's people down there. And drop the word consume in the chat, But if you made it this far and you gave me all this much of your time, I love you. And I hope you have a great day and a great life. And be grateful that your heart is beating. I'm sorry that I keep adding more time. But be grateful that, imagine how many times your heart has beat in your life. This one thing is creating your life. Once this thing stops beating, it's over with. And this thing always shows up for you. Like, you just feel it right now. Bop, 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 bop. Beautiful. But yeah, y'all have a great day, bro. I love y'all.